Okay, we're continuing in the shir about Kabbalah, about learning Kabbalah. Okay, this shir is mainly going to focus on the topic of who should learn Kabbalah, if a person needs to know all of Shas and Poskim, if you have to be familiar with all of the Talmud before you start learning Kabbalah. And this is a very big discussion, it seems, from the Rishonim, from the Poskim, and from the earlier sources, that a person needs to be very, very fluent in all of Shas, that it would leave very few of us to be dealing with Kabbalah. And in the Shulchan Aruch, it seems to paskin this as halacha, and you could see also in the Rambam in Hilchos Yesodei Torah Perek Daled halacha Yud Gimel. And there are paskins like that in Yerodea Siman Reish Mem Vav Siv Daled. So you could see there also the Shach discusses the importance of not learning Kabbalah too early. But we're actually going to bring, for the most part, Achronim, people that are closer to our generation, that seem to say that in our times things have changed, and that we have much more of a heter, we have more of an ability and an allowance to learn Kabbalah, and it's actually important for us to learn Kabbalah. So we're going to see some of the Achronim. We're not going to go into every. We're going to go through all of them here in the Sefer that we've been using before, the Otzos Chaim and Nakdama, but we're going to look also in another Sefer, the Otzos Chaim of the Matok Midvash, which is a very nice Sefer, and he has a much more elaborate collection of sources, and we're going to see some of the things that they add there. So we're continuing in this Sefer, in the Otzos Chaim of Rav Shisha. This is in the chapter of Be'inyan al Ad Shimala Kriso B'Shas Poskim. Umash Mavur Shalol Dilmud Kabbalah Ad Shimala Kriso B'Shas Poskim, and about what it says that a person should not start learning Kabbalah until he fills up his stomach, so to speak, with the learning of Shas and the law authorities, the Poskim. Amar al Zeh Tshuva Nitzachas Harav Maria Mizidichov. The Rav Mizidichov brings a very strong argument against this type of statement, that a person really has to be basically a gadol ador. A person has to be very, very fluent in all of Shas and Poskim, which again, who of us could say that we are on such a madrega? And certainly I'm not. This is what he says in the Sefer Per Tzadik. Halo Amar Chazal, the rabbi said, the Gemara says, L'olam yashlish adam shnosav, shlish b'mikra, shlish b'mishnah, shlish b'talmud. The Gemara says that a person should divide his days. A third of his days should be in mikra, in Torah shebechsav. A third of it should be in Mishnah, and a third should be in Gemara, in Talmud. V'iksheh shama Gemara. The Gemara there asks, V'chiyada kamachayim. Does a person know how many years he's going to live in order to divide his years up, like 30 years in 25 years or so in Chumash, just learning Chumash for 25 years till he's 25, and once he's 25 till 50, he should learn just Mishnah, and from 50 to 75, to more or less at the end of his days, if that's how long he lives, he should learn Talmud. So that's what the Gemara asks. How does a person know how long he's going to live? How does he know he's going to live exactly 75 years to divide up his years exactly in that way? And the Gemara answers, we're talking about to the day. Now the Tosas explains, what does it mean that the Gemara says we're talking about according to the day? Every day a person should divide a third of his day. He should learn Chumash and Mikra, Tanakh. A third of his day he should learn Mishnah, and a third of the day he should learn Gemara. So if he has 9 hours to learn, he should learn 3 hours Chumash, 3 hours Tanakh. Midrashim probably would be included, 3 hours Gemara, and 3 hours Mishnah. V'chen anu noagim, and this is what the Rav Mizidichov continues to say, the Mari Mizidichov. He says, V'chen anu noagim b'limud Kabbalah. We do the same thing also with or I also practice doing this the same thing with Kabbalah. B'chol yom v'yom anu memalim krisenu b'shas poskim. Every day we fill up our stomachs with shas poskim. We first learn shas poskim. V'achar kach anu oskim b'Kabbalah, and afterwards we deal with Kabbalah. So if a person will wait till he literally finishes, not only finishes, but knows Shas Poskim, he's completely has his stomach, has his mind filled up with Shas Poskim, he doesn't know if he's going to live to such a madriga, to such an age, or to such a stage where he's going to be able to do such a thing. And certainly it must be that he's referring to every day. That every day we should first start off with filling our stomachs with Shas Poskim, and that's now how he's explaining. I think it's a Mafusha Gemara also that says that a person must fill up his stomach with Shas Poskim before he starts being Metal B'Pardes, before he starts going through starts learning the secrets of the Torah, like Maisa Merkava and Maisa Bereshis. I'm pretty sure it's a Gemara. Okay, so in any case, he's explaining that Gemara also by saying that a person only has to do it on a daily basis. He should divide his days up, where he first settles himself in the morning. Let's say if he wakes up, he has Seder. The first Seder he should learn. He should learn Shas and Poskim, and afterwards he can start going into learning Kabbalah. And this is what the Maria Mizirchov, the Sefer Pei Tzadik, writes specifically. Now, Rav Shisha brings Vayan Ze Kasuv Gam Ramchal B'Sof Sefer Derech Chachma. He says this idea also is brought by the Ramchal in the end of Sefer Derech Chachma. I personally, I don't have the Sefer in front of me, but I learned this. The Sefer, and it didn't seem to me so clear from Ramchal that he was saying this principle with regards to Kabbalah. What he does in that Sefer, the whole Sefer is describing the importance of learning Kabbalah and how the purpose of a person's learning should be to learn Kabbalah. And he says, however, a person can't and shouldn't really learn Kabbalah until he basically has a pretty solid grounding in all the rest of the Torah. And he describes what that means. He describes how much Gemara he has to learn, how well he has to learn it, and how much he should know the Mishnayos and the Tur Shulchan Aruch. With the Rambam, he goes in to explain with the Mefarshim and the Midrashim. He says you have to know all of that before you start learning Kabbalah. And then at the end he says a statement that a person does not need to finish. He gives it an order. He says first a person should finish all of the Chumash, and then he should learn all of Tanakh, and he should understand the way that it's written with the understanding the principles of rhetoric, the principles of poetry, in order to understand the words of the Tanakh. And then he should go on to learn Mishnah, and he should finish all of it. And he should learn also Shas, and he should finish all of it. And then he should learn the Tur. He should learn the Rambam, I think, with all the Mefarshim, and then learn the Tur Shulchan Aruch with the main Mefarshim. And he should match up the Rambam with the Shulchan Aruch. And there he says that a person, after he gives this type of order, where he seems to start with Chumash and ends with Poskim, he says that a person doesn't necessarily have to first learn all the Chumash until he finishes all the Chumash, and all the Tanakh until he finishes all the Tanakh, and then start learning Mishnah, and then after he finishes Mishnah, start learning Talmud. He doesn't have to go like that. He's allowed to, and it's very, very kedai, to start learning, let's say, a half hour or some smaller amount of Chumash, and learn also some small amount of Mishnah, in order that he should be, and most of his day, let's say, learning Gemara. I'm just giving an example of a breakdown, in order that he should be able to finish everything at the same time. That when he finishes Shas, he'll also have finished all of Tanakh, and also finished all of the Shulchan Aruch, and that's also okay, he seems to say. So there he doesn't specifically say that a person can also learn Kabbalah before he finishes learning all of the Nigla, all of the revealed Torah that the Ramchal sets out for a person, and therefore it's not clear to me that the Ramchal is really giving a heter to. It's not 100% clear that he's giving a heter to learn Kabbalah before finishing all of Nigla. However, there is room in what he's saying to certainly say this, or something like this. There's certainly room. He doesn't say it explicitly though. That's again according to the way I understood it. If a person reads it again, it's not black and white completely. If a person wants to read it differently, he certainly could. Okay, so that's the Ramchal. Although, I mean, it did seem, just from hearing the story of the Ramchal in his life, I'm not so sure that he had a test to know if everyone knew Shas and Poskim before they started learning by him, before they started learning Kabbalah. So I wouldn't be so surprised to understand the Ramchal would also have been lenient on such a thing before you actually finish all of Shas and Poskim. It does seem clear in the Ramchal that a person should not learn most of his day Kabbalah before finishing all these things. There is a certain word that he says a person should certainly learn most of his day. He says a person should not learn most of his day Kabbalah before he finishes these things. So, if a person wants to be medayek in his words and to be very exacting and to say that most of his day you can't learn, or most of your time you can't learn Kabbalah, but part of your time you could, then there might be room to say that. But again, this is all outside without seeing the Sefer. It could be that if I can find the Sefer, it shouldn't be too hard to find it. I should be able, maybe we'll bring it at the end of this shir to see what the Ramchal says. Okay. The Sefer told us Yaakov Yosef. Now continuing in this in the Sefer of Shisha and Akdama. And the Sefer told us Yaakov Yosef, which is a very important Hasidic Sefer, one of the first, or possibly the first Hasidic Sefer published. Kasav b'inyan zeh b'Parshas Tazria. It says on this topic in Parshas Tazria, V'zel Shalom. It says like this. These are the words. Masha kasav b'poskim. What it says in the poskim that we brought in Yeridea, we said Siman Reish Mem Vav. It says that Rak achar sheyimal kreso b'shas poskim yomod b'primus atar v'lo kodam. It says only after a person fills up his stomach with shas and poskim should he start learning the secrets of Torah, not beforehand. So about that, hatamhu, the reason is, etc. I guess he's skipping here. Kamosh yetzias ha'adam hu tchilas haguf golam shenivra chomer v'achar kach yirpach bapav nishmas chaim ruach chaim. It's the reason for this is that just like in a body, when the body was created, the body was first made, and the body is first made. Afterwards, the neshama goes into the body. So too, we must learn the body of the Torah, which is the nigla, the revealed parts of the Torah, and afterwards we can learn the neshama of the Torah, which is the nister, the secrets of Torah. Efes sheyesh limod zchus al choshkim b'pnimis kodem shemala kriso b'chol shas poskim. However, I do have a limud zchus, a justification for those people who do desire to learn the secrets of Torah before they fill up their stomachs with shas and poskim, before they fill themselves up with shas and poskim, with all of the shas and poskim. The reason, the justification I have is like this. He says, "Ki kol shas poskim hem klolim." All the shas and poskim are principles. V'aguf hashayachim l'chol Yisrael b'klos yachad, and they are the body that is designated, that is appropriate for all of the body of the Jewish people, meaning that the Jewish people altogether make up like a body. We are all together one organism, and this organism is considered like a body. We know that, like the Mashiach, the neshamas that are out now in our generation are mainly like the heel of this body, and there are different generations that were different parts, the arms or the legs or the eyes, different parts of this body were different previous generations, and different types of tzaddikim. Different tzaddikim have different parts in this body. So we have, in general, we have the heel. So every different part of Shas relates to a different part of this body, and all of Shas relates to all of this body. So if a person wants to perfect this whole body, so to speak, the physical aspect of it, then he would learn all of, or the nigla aspect. Again, we're talking about spiritual neshama. If a person wants to be metaken the the goof, so to speak, of the neshama, he would be mataken. He would have to learn all of Shas. However, Vimkein Yachid Misrael would come out that an individual in Klal Yisrael, Shu Iver Echad Min Klolus, since he's only one limb of this general principal body, then Kishalomad Kafia Erech Ha'eva Megufa Torah Yesh Lo Rishus Limon Mepnimus Torah. Once he learns what parallels his part of the body, once he learns that amount or that part of the nigla, then he's already able to learn the neshama. Yesh lo rishus lilmod pnimus haTorah. He's able to learn the neshama of that part. Haneshama mechuven el gufa evarahu, the neshama part that is appropriate for that body. So let's say a person comes from the heel, and he now completes, let's say, Shas, or completes a Masechta of Shas, or a certain part in Shas that relates to that part of the body, that part of the heel, and then he now has completed what he needs for himself. So even though he hasn't finished all Shas, or he hasn't finished Shas in a way that represents the whole body, finished Shas, he learned the amount of Torah that was able, or paralleled, the part of Torah that paralleled his particular part of his neshama. So he learned the nigla that relates to him. Afterwards, he's allowed to learn the nister that relates to him also. And he does not have to finish completing the whole body of Torah, which relates to every single one of the aspects of all of the ramach evarim of the body of all the neshamas. He only has to learn the nigla that relates to him, his neshama, and then he's allowed to learn the nister that relates to his neshama. That's how he's, again, Melamed Zchus. He justifies those people who want to learn Nister before they completely have finished all of Shas. There's a justification. It's not necessarily so clear that he's saying that it's the right thing to do or it's a good thing to do. However, from the Mari Mizidichov that we previously brought, it seemed to say that it is a very good thing. And also there are many other Achronim here brought in this Sefer, which is also a very, very important sefer. It's a Matok Midvash of the Otzus Chaim, with the Perish Matok Midvash. So he brings a lot more that seem to say that it is a very good thing to do, and we don't need to wait, or we shouldn't wait till we finish all of Shas and Poskim to start learning Kabbalah, because we might not make it. Rav Menachem, and we're continuing here in this. Rav Menachem Menchin Halperin, Zichron Avrocha Baskamasol Perish Ifa Shlema. He gives askama to the parish Ifa Shlema, which is in many Otzus Chaim, many editions of Otzus Chaim. Kosov Zel Shani, he writes like this: Lo kosam atipshim apotrim esasma limud Kabbalah, and you should not be like those fools who exempt themselves from learning Kabbalah because they didn't learn Shas Poskim. You shouldn't be like them. Eshel mehem, I'll ask them, those people who don't learn Kabbalah because they say they didn't finish Shas Poskim. Lama lo yizkru ta'anasum zu b'shas shaponim medaber dvarim b'teilin hagorim achareim lishon bishul lashon hara shemechuyev lifresh mehem gam mishem mila kresu Shas Poskim. So I would ask them, those people who say that we don't have to learn we don't have to learn Kabbalah until we learn Shas Poskim. Why do you speak Dvarim B'Teilim? Why do you speak things that are unnecessary, that cause lashon hara and all sorts of bad speech, that even someone who did finish Shas Poskim is not allowed to speak? So, meaning it's better certainly to learn Kabbalah than it is to say lashon hara and to do other bad things. So he's saying to those people who say we don't learn Kabbalah, so I say, why do you speak Dvarim B'Teilim? If you're so much against learning Kabbalah, you should also be even more so very much against things that even someone who did finish Shas and Poskim is not to learn, like Dvarim B'Teilim, wasteful words. The reason is that they leave the Chachma itself, they leave the learning of Kabbalah itself. And about this, one of the Gedolim said, someone who openly wants to cancel out and neglect nister, chazaka, it can be assumed shemavatal b'seiser as a nigla, that in private he also is mavatal. He cancels out or nullifies or doesn't pay attention to properly the nigla, the revealed Torah. Ad kan lashon. Okay, now before we finish off, I'd like to bring just a Kabbalah. In the Rav Chaim Vital, in the Kedama here, Rav Chaim Vital of Shar Kedamas, the introduction, Rav Chaim Vital writes with his own words. This is a very important piece for understanding, or when we touch the topic of who could and who should learn Kabbalah. Here he says some very, very sharp things which are, let's say, very extreme, and I'm just going to read it and translate it and give it the way it is, and each person will have to look into it to understand it themselves. Okay, because there are also within the Rav Chaim Vital there are some seems like a little bit contradictory, but certainly some statements are very, very open, as we're going to see, very, very strong statements. V'omnam, the Rav Chaim Vital says like this: Omnam al yomer adam. A person should not say, I'm going to go learn Kabbalah before I learn the Torah, the Chumash, Mishnah, and Talmud. A person should not say that. The rabbis already said, the Rambam in Hilchos Studia Torah, a person should not start learning the Pardes, start learning the secrets of Torah, before he fills up his stomach with meat and wine, which is the nigla of Torah. And it's similar to a neshama without a body, because the neshama, the secrets of Torah are like the neshama, and the body is like the nigla, the revealed part of the Torah. Which the neshama has no reward, because it does not have any action and does not have any cheshbon, does not have any din cheshbon. Until the neshama goes into the goof, does the neshama start being able to act and start having reward. And then he can be matuk, and he gets reward when he fixes himself up with the taryag mitzvahs, 613 mitzvahs. And similarly the opposite, when a person only learns the Mishnah and the Gemara, and he does not learn and he does not learn any of the secrets of Torah, then he's sitting like a body without a neshama. He does not have the light of Hashem, which is this neshama, which should be shining inside of him. He doesn't have that when he only learns the Gemara without learning Kabbalah. In a way that the body is going to be dry without drawing from the source of life, etc. And again, I think he's skipping here. This again, we're reading from the introduction to the Matok Midvash, who's quoting the Rav Chaim Vital. These are the words of the Rav Chaim Vital. In a way that the Talmid Chachamim that are learning Torah Lishma, v'lo lasos lo shem, and they're not learning in order to become a rabbi or for their personal purposes. They're learning because they're trying to do a mitzvah of Hashem. Tzarich sheyasok b'tchila b'chachmas hamikra v'mishnah v'talmud k'fi ma sheyuchol sichlo lizbo. He must first learn Chumash, Mikra, Tanakh, Mishnah, and Gemara according to what his mind can handle. Afterwards he should learn to know his God with the learning of the secrets of Torah, of Kabbalah. That you should know, just like David HaMelech commanded his son, you should know Hashem, your Lord, and you should serve Him. So too, we should also learn Kabbalah to know about Hashem, and we should serve Him. ואם האיש הזה יהיה כבר כובד וקשה בעניין העיון בtalmud. So one thing here he says, just to point out, he says a person should learn Mikra, Mishnah, and Talmud according to the amount that his mind can handle. What that is exactly, it's not so clear here. Later on, it might become a little bit more clear in this, as Rav Chaim Vital elaborates. ואם האיש הזה יהיה כובד וקשה בעניין העיון בtalmud, and if this person, a person who wants to learn Kabbalah, it is difficult for him to learn Talmud, and he's it's very hard for him. מוטב לו שיניח ידו ממנו אחר שבחן מזל בחוכמה זו. Chaim Vital says it is better for him to leave the learning of, or the iyun of Talmud, the deep investigation in Talmud, since he already tested himself in Talmud and it didn't go for him. V'yasok b'chachmas emes, and he should deal completely or mainly in the secrets of Torah. V'zeh sha'amru, and this is what it says in Masechtas Chulin, Daf Chof Daled Amud Aleph. It says clearly, Kol Talmid Chacham she'einu ra siman yafa b'Talmud b'chamish hashanim shuv einu ra. Any student who does not already see some type of bracha, some type of development in learning Talmud for 5 years, he won't see it anymore. He won't come to him afterwards. So here he seems to be saying that if a person has learned at least for 5 years and it hasn't gone for him, and it really isn't going for him, and he really isn't understanding, then he should, for the most part at least, leave the iyun in Talmud. Maybe he should learn just the kiss. He should leave the iyun in Talmud, the deep investigation in Talmud, and he should deal, for the most part, with the secrets of Torah, the Kabbalah. However, a person who is not like this previous person we were speaking about, a person who is difficult for him, a person who is very easy for him to be ma'ayin, a person who could learn deeply and quickly, he has an obligation, and specifically he has an obligation to learn maybe an hour or 2 hours in halacha, in iyun and halacha. He should learn iyun halacha, and he should have a kavanah, certain Kabbalistic kavanas, as he explains in different places, that to answer up the question that comes in the pshat halacha, to answer up the questions that he has in halacha. And he should be mechaven to take away the klipa, that makes people have questions and not understand what they're learning. And when he answers the questions, he's taking away this klipa. He should take it away from the Eitzadas Tovara when he answers the questions. Shia Mishnah, which is the Mishnah, the maidservant, and afterwards he should learn Kabbalah. So here he clearly is saying that a person who does not learn Talmud so well should not learn B'iyun, Gemara B'iyun B'chlal, and a person who does should learn for 2 hours, 1 or 2 hours. He should learn B'iyun, and he should be mechaven to, like these kavanas that he says, to get rid of the klipas. So here we have a very interesting statement, a very clear statement also. The Rav Chaim Vital is saying, even for those people who cannot learn the iyun properly, who do not succeed in the iyun in Talmud, should learn mainly, it seems, mainly Kabbalah. This is what Rav Chaim Vital is saying. Now, again, for those of you who want to look more into it and to see more about it, there's a Sefer Avos Shalom from Rav Yaakov Hillel, and there I think the Sefer is called, or there's a Maimer there called Derech Eitz Chaim, and there he tries to say that this is not to be taken literally. You could look in the Sefer to see for yourself what you think, but whether you agree with this that mahalach or not, there are many other people that do take this literally. It would seem that the Ramchal also was one of them. In one of his letters, he quotes this piece when he speaks to his Rav about a certain thing, and he seems to be taking it. It seems to me he takes it literally, But in any case, the Rav Frisch here, who's the Mefarsh of the Matuk Midrash, one of the most famous Pirushim on the Zohar, the most popular at least, writes, however, someone who did not deal with the foundations of the Torah and the knowledge of the details of the mitzvahs of the Torah, kedugmas ger tzedek or bal tshuva b'tchilas darko, like a ger who a convert, or a bal tshuva in the beginning of his learning, in the beginning of when he just starts coming close. They certainly should not deal with Kabbalah until they learn the basic mitzvahs first. They shouldn't jump straight into it. In general, this is a general principle. And in the meantime, until they know the basic, how to keep Shabbos and how the basic halachas, whatever that may be, they know how to learn Torah somewhat. They know some things more things about Torah. It shouldn't be that people that come off the street don't know how to read letters in Hebrew and are trying to first learn Kabbalah, or think that it's the most important thing or most necessary thing for them to learn Kabbalah. In general, it's not necessary. I'm saying there are some of those people who are choser b'tshuva because of Kabbalah, and each person has to speak to his Rav so that he can get direction on this learning, to know which direction to go with. Should he learn Kabbalah? Should he not learn Kabbalah? But in any case, a person who doesn't know anything about Torah, or a very fresh Baal Tshuva, should in general stay away from learning Kabbalah. This is what Rav Frisch says. That's very good things very good advice.